Women doctors, we hear you. We know your struggles. We know what it's like to be a female doctor in this dominant world. And guess what? Dr. Summer Casmel and myself teamed up together and created Women Dentists Connect. We wanted to create a safe, educational, and inspirational place to come and ask those crazy questions that you don't want to ask. We know that being a female doctor is different than it is for male doctors. You just have different issues, different questions, different concerns. So Dr. Summer Casmel and I are actually hosting a live event in beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona on October 11th and 12th. This is for women doctors and their teams. We're talking business. We're talking issues that female doctors face. We're talking team breakouts, how to really rally your team. And we're giving you hundreds of tangibles that you can take home and implement Monday morning. We're also having an amazing lineup of speakers where you'll actually get CE for attending. So come on in. We can't wait to see you. We only have a handful of people that we're allowing in. So run on over to womendentistsconnect.com. Use the coupon code podcast to get the Dental 18 family coupon. Guys, I cannot wait. I would love to see you there. I'd love to connect with you, learn from you, and share. So hop on over Women Dentists Connect. I can't wait to see you in October. Hey everyone, welcome to the Dental 18 podcast. We're your hosts, Kira Dent
and Dr. Mark Costas.
Mark and I had this crazy idea that maybe we could combine a dentist and a team member's perspective because let's face it, dentistry can be a challenging profession with those two perspectives. And Dental 18 podcast was created.
I'm a practicing dentist, a multiple practice owner, a dental performance coach, and the founder of the Dental Success Institute.
I've been a dental assistant, treatment coordinator, scheduler, biller, office manager, current practice owner, and international dental consultant. Mark and I don't just understand you, we are you.
Our goal is to positively impact the world of dentistry by sharing our lessons learned from the road in hundreds of dental offices.
Two perspectives, one mission, to help dental professionals reach their full potential. Welcome to the Dental 18 podcast. Hello, Dental 18 listeners. This is Kira, and it is super early in the morning. I finished up an awesome office yesterday, and I am in New Jersey, and I'm headed out to Pittsburgh today. So it's super early, and I have about a 45 minute drive this morning. So of course I'm solo. And I'm on East Coast time, so I can't call anybody, chat with anybody. So guess what, Dental 18 listeners, you get me bright and early, which honestly, some of my best ideas come to me early in the morning. So today I want to do a special podcast because you guys, I am so excited. Today is podcast number 100 of the Dental 18. That's a pretty big deal. And I've been stressed about this podcast. And honestly, Tony Robbins says stress is just an overachiever's word for fear. So let's be real. I've been afraid that I wouldn't deliver a podcast that was 100th podcast worthy. And then I realized I was putting a lot of extra pressure on myself that wasn't necessary, because the reality is the Dental 18 team is here to elevate teams to their highest level, and that's teams of all positions. And so today what I wanted to do for the 100th podcast, guys, first of all, can you believe it? I started a podcast when I did not want to do this, and I've loved it, and it's been a fun journey, and it's just been, I honestly can't believe we're already to podcast episode number 100. I think that just goes to show for any of you who have a dream or have a goal or have a desire, when you really put your mind to something and we get out of our comfort zones and we push ourselves, a lot of crazy cool movement can happen. So that's first of this is, push yourself to those challenges, dream big. And then Rachel Hollis, in one of her books, she said, and then dream bigger. And I love that because we can dream big, but then dream even bigger, because that's where fulfillment comes. So today's podcast, I've got a lot of different thoughts, and I think the approach that I wanted to take today is more about you as a person. The podcast here, I wanted to give tangible and practical tips, and I want a lot of dentistry, but I was listening to a podcast by Tony Robbins this morning, and yesterday was Brendan Bouchard, and just trying to fill my mind. And I realized a lot of the podcasts that I listen to are ones on personal development, to push myself, to make myself a better version of me. And I realized, I'm doing that because if I am not the best version of myself, if I'm not fulfilling myself, if I'm not pushing the bounds of what I know, if I'm not constantly thinking and innovating and making me a better version of me, how can I influence any of you to do the same thing? So they were talking about how leaders, you want to change an organization, you need to change the leader of the organization. So doctors, office managers, leads of positions. And for any of you who aren't that position, I talk about a lot on this podcast about leads. And the reason being is because if all of us on a team have a leadership ownership mindset, think of how incredible that practice would be. Think of how great of a team environment that would be to work on. So I think no matter who you are, as long as you have that leadership mentality, that leadership mindset, you are then going to be able to influence and change your practice. And so they're talking about how leaders, a pattern that all leaders have is the ability to influence. And I I had a mentor the other day. She said, now go noodle on that. So that's been my phrase lately. Like go noodle, go think about, do you agree with that? That leaders, the way that they're actual leaders and they're the most impactful is truly by influence. You can influence, you can motivate people, but motivation goes away. However, influence causes change. So are you influencing the people on your team? Are you as a leader being influenced? And the only way that you can be that you can influence other people is if you yourself have been influenced. And I started thinking about personal development. And honestly, like when I first met Mark Costas, I thought he was a little bit of rah-rah. And he started adding in the 4 futures in your mind and your movement and your money and your meaning. The 4 forces of personal development. And I was like, gosh, Mark, this is so dumb. Like I really thought that because I thought, tell me how to grow a practice. Like I want to know how to grow a practice. And then I realized, because I've been coaching some offices, and I gave literally the perfect phone script to an office. They have it. And I called them and did a random sampling on them to see how they were doing. She literally said verbatim what I had taught her to do. But she herself was not connected to the idea. She herself had not been influenced. She was just a robot repeating what I had said. And I realized, okay, I can give you guys all the skills. I literally can tell you how to grow a practice. But end all be all, if you're not the person who's going to take this and actually be influenced and change, and you yourself can't deliver that message across the phone. All you can do is read it and say it exactly how it should be. How can I get you to elevate? It's hard. It's really hard. Because if you yourself are not growing and grasping and changing and evolving, I was with an office yesterday and they were so fantastic, but the doctor comes in on all the hygiene exams and that he just starts chit-chatting with the patients, and they realize that a lot of open treatment or plus treatment that these patients have, like literally guys, in your hygiene room, you have a captive audience. They can't talk back to you. And we get we get ragged on as professionals that we ask a million questions while they're sitting in the chair and they can't respond. So we know it's a fact that our patients can't respond to us. So we have a very captive audience. But in this office, the hygiene crew was not talking to the patients about open treatment. They're trying to grow their practice. Literally, this is one of the most easy and effective ways and patient care to grow your practice is simply for the hygiene department to talk and warm up the oven of treatment that's pending, that's open, that we could do convert to same day or at least get scheduled. So in this practice, we're going to go doctor team perspective. The doctor would go in, just start shooting the breeze with the patient, which I don't blame the doctor for doing. He should be trying to make connections with his team, or his patient. Totally makes sense. But yet what happened is they were so focused on connecting, the hygienist never did a handoff to the doctor, and therefore we didn't close open treatment. We didn't ever discuss it. Our doctor, they were like, well, we're waiting on our doctor to close it. And I was like, hygienist, if you're not bringing it up to your doctor, docs don't have time to review everything and remember everything. And that's why they rely heavily on the person who just spent an hour with the patient in the chair, as opposed to them having to hold the whole weight of the practice. Same thing with dental assistants. You should be teeing up and warming up that oven of those patients so they're ready to go for treatment. Doctor just comes in and does the final close. Or your treatment coordinators do the final close. Like, that's your job as a team member. So in this practice, what I did was I was having them role play, because the doctor's like, I don't really like the bill of health conversation. Like, walk in, okay, Kira has She's got lots of like deep pocketing. She needs 50 crowns. She doesn't brush. She doesn't floss. Like, that feels really bad. And you guys have to remember that your patients are very vulnerable. They're super stressed. They're concerned that you are going to judge them, and they're already feeling uncomfortable. So with this office, we came up with the don't get ready, guys. We came up with the hygiene handoff as CRAP. Sorry, guys. It's CRP, CRAP. So first of all, when the doctor comes in, we compliment. So it's like, hey, and you compliment. Don't make up these compliments, but you compliment this patient. You find one thing that you can compliment them on. So, hey, Dr. So-and-so, this is Kira. She's been doing an awesome job with her home care. Now, if I'm a terrible brusher, don't say that. Do not reinforce bad behavior. That's not a good thing. So you could say, like, you know what, Dr. So-and-so, Kira, she's been doing a great job. She doesn't have any bleeding on tooth number 13. I could have bleeding everywhere else in my mouth, but you find one way to compliment me in the handoff to the doctor. So it's the doctor handoff of CRAP, but it's super good. Okay, so then after that, what we do is we've complimented. Then we do a quick, less than 30-second recap of our findings and the open or plus treatment that's there. So hey, Dr. So-and-so, Kira, she's been doing an awesome job on her flossing. She's picked that up in the last couple of months. She's been doing a great job. We also went through, I did chat with her, told her that, she's got some sensitivity. So I told her, you take a quick look at that. And then also, she does know that from the last time she was here, she does have that crown. We talked about it. It is getting a little bit bigger on decay or there's sensitivity. Obviously, hygienists, you cannot diagnose, so that's not allowed. But you can say, like, I did let her know it's probably going to be a crown or a filling, but you would definitely be the final say. So this way, we've warmed up the oven, we've done our recap, and then the P is something personal. So we say, and she's getting ready to go on a skiing trip. Because by doing that quick personal, we are then able to let our doctor have a segue in. So doctor just heard a compliment, patients put at ease. Then after that, we've done a recap. So we're discussing that open treatment and our findings for today. And then we're also... the other piece of this is we're also doing a personal segue, so that way our doctor has something to pick up so it's not awkward. So a perfect example of this would be, an example of this would be, okay, Kira, hey, Dr. So-and-so's in here. So Dr. So-and-so, this is Kira. Kira's been doing a great job. She doesn't have any bleeding on number 13, so super proud of her. We did discuss perio, so she knows about the risks, and I let her know you would confirm about the perio. And then also she's got a couple of areas that I pointed out on the x-rays, and we took some intraorals where it looks like she might have some cavity bugs in there, but I let her know might be a filling, might be a crown, and you would discuss that on number 2, 4, 7, and 10. And then also Kira, she's super excited. She's going on a skiing trip pretty soon. Right there, I just did my crap. I complimented, I did a recap, discussed what our findings were in any open treatment, and I also did something personal. Now, doctor can come in, and that didn't take me very long. You guys just heard. That was like a 30-second, here you go, doc. Because doctors are busy. They need to come in and out on those exams. We do not want to be wasting their time, and we don't want them wasting your time either. So with that crap handoff, you guys are then able to have that. But it was interesting, back to my point at the beginning, was I coached this in an office yesterday. And it was interesting because for me, I was able to have a very casual conversation with doctor, but relay this so it didn't sound scripted. And I literally made this up while I was in the office. So it wasn't like I've been practicing this crap handoff for so long. I literally came up with it and then just role played in my natural way. And I made things light and airy. I made them fun. Same thing when I'm talking to patients, like another coaching thing for one of their hygienists is the patient showed up late and she was super frustrated and she only had realistically 10 to 15 minutes to clean this patient. And she's like, we need to have a late policy. And I said, yeah, I agree with you. But at the same time, I hate to be handcuffed to somebody else owning my fate. So instead of that, why don't I help you? Why don't I help you have some verbiage so what you can do? I was like, yes, this patient came in late. You can be super frustrated with them and you can be super angry with them. But maybe another idea to give you some empowerment is to say like, hey, Kira, the good news is we're going to have time to get your x-rays and your probings done. Dr. So-and-so is going to come in and do an exam, and then I'm going to get you back to do an incredible cleaning. I didn't reprimand you. I didn't tell you how terrible you are for showing up late. I didn't tell you you're getting a cleaning. You already know these things. I don't need to do that. You're a grown adult. Don't worry about it. You guys do not. But an example of a grown adult, I was in Ireland one time. This lady, her and I kind of got into it at the ticket counter because I was frustrated. They would not let me go in. I'd been there an hour and 50 minutes before the plane departed, and they told me they would not print my ticket because I was not 2 hours there. I was an hour and 50 minutes there. And I was very frustrated. So I went up to the ticket counter, and I remember saying like, hey, can we get my ticket? This lady had been on the phone forever. I had listened to her talk to the guy before, and it was like £100 to change a ticket. And she told me for me, it was going to be £1,000 to change this ticket. And I was like, oh no. So I definitely got a little, I lost my professionalism. You guys, I'm not always perfect with my words. And I remember telling this lady, she said, you really should be here 2 hours better and you should plan your time. And I was like, I am an adult. Thank you. And she's like, well, maybe you should act like one. And I was like, wow. Like, that's impressive to say to me. Thank you. But so with that story, I'm telling you guys, your adult patients don't need to be reprimanded. They are adults. Life gets busy. You get busy. You are not above the law either. So with this hygienist, I said, you could, instead of reprimanding her, making her feel terrible, I know you want to, that's your initial gut reaction, be above that. Be a better person and say, the good news, that's your phrase, guys. The good news is I'm going to have time to get those x-rays done and those probings done. And Dr. So-and-so is going to come do an exam. We'll get you out of here on time. And, we'll need an hour for your cleaning when I see you next time, a full hour. But the good news is today we can get this taken care of for you. So with that said, all these points that I'm giving you guys today, I coached this verbiage. I coached these people. I gave them the magic thing. I gave them the crap handoff. I gave them the good news is so you can talk to your patients about it better. I gave all these things to these people. However, when they role played, their natural tendency of who they were as people was to reprimand, to follow the patterns that they had. And I tell you guys, this is something I picked up at another event. They said, practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes permanent. And so my point in all of this, in this whole episode, is I can give you all those phrases. I can teach you how to do this. But if you yourself has not been influenced and is not a higher version of yourself, if you are not practicing better verbiage, if you're not looking for ways to make your patients happier, but instead you're just practicing your same thing, you're practicing on those scripts, but you're not actually internalizing it because you yourself have not grown and elevated yourself, you can't influence and change somebody else. And I've been coaching for a long time, guys. I've gone over to over 100 offices in the last 2.5 years. I've been in dentistry for a long time. I did not come to this world with perfect knowledge. If you really want to know what I came to this world, okay, let's go back to my Aer Lingus experience. So this lady was super frustrated with me. She definitely did not act in a professional manner. She told me I should act like somebody. So I had to go get out of the line, and I eventually got back in the line. This is not a proud moment, guys. I'm very embarrassed I did this, but I'm going to share it with you so you know Kira Dent did not walk into this world with perfect verbiage. I walked into this world, I walked up to the counter, and I was like, hey, how about you and I just finish this transaction with each other so neither of us ever have to see each other again, because I think that's in the best interest of both of us. That is not a proud moment for me. I literally said this to a person in another country. I could have been detained. I literally had that problem, guys. That was me not having my finest moment. So with that said, that's who I came into this world as. I came into this world as a very spitfire, redhead, saucy human who says whatever I think, and I'm going to be direct and blunt with you, and I didn't make a ton of friends growing up. That's who my natural state of being is. However, that natural state of being has not gotten me very far in life. I have to work against who I naturally am. I use a lot of my skills, but that's who I naturally am. So for all of you, we don't come into this world. It's not like we're gifted with this and we can just change. Instead, we've got to work hard to elevate ourselves to a higher level, to a higher version of ourselves. So for this 100th episode, I want you guys to look at yourselves. Think about, I was not, and I purposely am giving you guys some horrendous examples of who I am, because I want you to realize that we can do these things all day long. We can talk about these things. We can listen to this podcast, but if you yourself is not elevating, if you're not trying some of these tactics, if you're not listening and then having somebody record you guys, I coach that office on phone skills of exactly what to say to get a patient to not cancel, because I've worked it over and over and over, and I know how to get somebody to not cancel on me. But I had to turn it into Kira's version. I have to do my little peppy, like, things are super easy. I want to come in at certain people and be like, stop canceling on me. Like, that's what I really want to say to them. But that's not going to get me very far. They don't need to be reprimanded. That lady at Aer Lingus, whew, I have no respect for that woman whatsoever. She got her point across, sure. But I did not have a good taste in my mouth, and I'm not going to recommend Aer Lingus to very many people in my life. So, who are you? How are you doing this? I can teach you all day long on this podcast, but more than anything, I want you to change you. I want you to look at you. How can you do this? That personal development, that rah fluff. Are you meditating every single morning? You guys, that's not my natural state. I'm a terrible meditator. I've gotten a lot better, but I've had to practice at it. I've had to work at it. I don't work out all the time, but I want to, and I want to be healthier. So every quarter, I reassess, where am I at on my mind, movement. Thank you, Mark, for having me do this, because I wouldn't do it otherwise. My mind, my movement, my meaning, my money. It used to be money was so far like off the radar scale that all the other pieces were drowning. Then started working on the other pieces. Started working on myself. I realized I'm going to work on this. I'm going to listen to personal development. If you guys need help with that, if you're already awesome on personal development, great. Let's get tactical. But at the end of the day, if you guys can grow as a person, if you can be better as a person, and every single day we're just in stride, trying every day to be better. Every single morning, guys. Okay, I'm going to give it like a realistic. Don't beat yourself up, because I'm not perfect. 90% of the time, though, I do write in my journal every morning. And something I took from guys, like, I listen to a lot of people. I want to be a better version of me. And so I'm constantly elevating and trying harder to become a better version of myself. So another book that I read, she said, every morning write down at least 3 results you want for that day. And don't make them easy. It's not like, well, I want to make it through my day. Cool. Maybe for you, that's where you need to be. When I was super depressed, guys, a few years ago, that would have been a great result for me. So wherever you are, zero judgment. But make them very specific. So typically when I'm going into an office, like today, I wrote down, I'm going to own this office and have raving fans. It's a very hard office I'm walking into. They have a lot of culture issues. They got a lot of morale issues. Like, I am a little anxious to go into this office. So my result is I'm going to own this office, and I'm going to have raving fans at the end of my day. Another thing is I've got a presentation next week. I'm speaking in Canada. So I'm going to get that presentation done. That's a result. And another one is I'm going to get 3 podcasts recorded today. Those are the results I want for my day. I've got intentionality. And they talk about when we have results, when we're trying to improve ourselves, if you have those results, you're very intentional with your day, you make progress. So whatever you've heard today, whatever you've done today, whatever struck you, I said a lot of things on here. Maybe you're going to take the crap handoff. Maybe you're going to take the intentionality of growing and elevating yourself. Maybe you're going to hear some of the things I do and be like, I'm going to try that. Maybe you're going to assess yourself for the quarter of how your mind, meaning, movement, and money, like which one of those categories are you out of whack on? I'm happy to send you over some little surveys so you can check yourself, whatever it is. But on the 100th episode, guys, if I can help you learn to make yourself a better version of yourself, think of the impact you'll have on your team. Think of the impact you'll have on your personal life. Think of the impact you'll have on this world. My mission is to positively impact the world of dentistry, because I believe that if I can change you guys, you're going to far reach so many more people than I could ever do as an individual person. It's like a mass movement, because I believe that dentistry is one of the best professions we could ever be in, because we get to impact so many lives. Think of how many people come to us in our dental office day in, day out. Tons. You have it all available to you. So what are you going to do with it? You can listen to this, you can act on it, you can change. Don't be afraid of failure. Be afraid of being the same person you are today, a year from now. All right, guys. Thank you for helping me get to 100 episodes. I'm so excited to continue on this journey with you. Please be my pen pal. Send me topics you want me to talk about on the podcast. I have a lot of you reaching out to me, asking me for topics, and I could hug you. thank you. Thank you for this. Please go leave us a review. Please comment on the 100th episode. Please share with your friends. Just like you guys in dental offices, we're trying to grow this podcast to positively impact the world of dental. So if that mission resonates with you, if you agree with that, and I believe that the way I can positively impact the world of dental is by changing those that work in dental offices, changing you as a person. So guys, thank you as always, and I cannot wait to catch you next time on the Dental A-Team podcast.
And that wraps it up for another episode of the Dental A-Team podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.